What does it mean when your wife is acting cold and distant for months and then all of a sudden she starts acting friendly? Could this be the breakthrough that you've been waiting for? Or have you just taken a step into the friend zone? My name's Luke Finn, and I'm the founder of the ARC system, where we help dads transform a marriage in crisis into a new unbreakable marriage. And today I'm joined by our ARC legends. ARC legends, assemble. How you doing, brothers? You all good?
Assembled, yeah, good buddy, yeah.
Assemble. Wonderful. All right. So today, guys, the question that we've been asked from Daryl from the Philippines is, my wife is starting to act more friendly during separation. What does it mean? So first and foremost, Daryl, we understand that this can be a confusing time. We've done videos on numerous occasions about mixed signals. It can be really confusing. We got Ozman. Welcome, brother. Great to have you on the live with us. So it can be a confusing time. We're here to help you, to give you some context. So guys, let me start off with you, Apache. What do you think it means when your wife starts acting friendly? So she's been cold for absolute months, and then all of a sudden she starts acting friendly during a separation.
I think it could mean it could mean a couple of things, right? It could be sort of there's not sort of one answer to that, but it could mean that she's happy that you're perhaps in agreement towards the separation. So he's okay with this. So yeah, I don't need to be quite so cold. Um, it could be that she's regained some emotional dependency on you, and that you'll
Yep.
become more emotionally available, and that she's happy to see those changes. Uh, yeah, I think she could just be confused with her own emotions. Maybe change your mind or something like that. It's depends which way the wind's blowing, I guess.
Yeah. In worst case scenario, it can certainly feel like that, right? When your wife's checked out, and it can be from one day to the next,
Mm.
hot and cold. What about you, Falcon? Good to see you again, brother. How you doing?
Hi, good morning. Um, yeah,
What
I
what do you
agree
think?
with.
So what do you think it means when your wife starts acting friendly during a separation?
I think it could mean a lot of things, like part of it, I feel like she could be experiencing, um, like, first of all, confusion, right? Because she's going through a tough time as well. Um, so I feel like she could be like either guilty or, just trying to manage her own emotions. You know, I also feel like she could be, she could feel like it could be, because you're going through changes. So she remembers the part of you that she loved, and she sees that, and some of those emotions might be coming up.
Yeah.
So it could be. I feel like it's a lot of confusion that it's probably.
Sounds like you're talking about like the inner conflict that your wife can experience, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when your marriage gets to this point during separation, it's taken years to get there, and then you guys obviously work on yourselves, and then there can be that inner conflict that she's experiencing, right? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cowboy, what about you, man? Because ultimately, what Daryl is looking for, and what all the guys that are here that are watching the live video. And by the way, guys, if you're on this, so watching this video, do us a favor, smash the like button. This will help us reach more men that need to get this message. It's a way to support our channel, cost free from your side. So just smash the like button and help us reach more men that need to hear this message. So, Cowboy, from your side, because you went through the 4 phases of the marriage to reconciliation, so you've seen the signs. What were kind of the first signs from your side that you could see that Paula was starting to check back into the marriage?
She started being a little more playful. She started joking around again, the way she used to before. She was smiling a lot more. Uh, she she started kind of chasing after me, if you will. Like started coming around me more. Started being more inquisitive and curious about what I was doing through the day or what I was doing at that moment. Like she just kind of wanted to spend more time, like more and more time with me. As as things were progressing, it happened pretty quickly. Um, Not sure why that was, but you know, it happened relatively quickly for that shift to happen.
Okay. So what I'm hearing here is, so was there a phase where you felt like your wife, well, Paula was acting friendly, or did you start straight away to feel that like that pull from her, like as in the sexual tension building up? What was it like for you? What was the first sign? So you said she was being playful.
So yeah, there was a phase. Like I said, everything kind of happened pretty quickly. So I had to kind of control the speed at which the things happened, but she was becoming more and more playful.
Okay.
Like,
And now with hindsight, because this is a really important one for guys to hear, in hindsight, looking back, you've been in the ARC system now almost a year. Looking back, was that a good thing that she came back towards you so quickly?
no,
Why not? Please explain to the guys here why it's not a good thing actually when there's this knee-jerk reaction. You come into the program, you know, after years of marriage being in a tough spot, her wanting a divorce, and then you come into the program and it's like everything's great within the space of a couple of weeks. Why is that actually not particularly healthy?
because really, when you like, again, going back to what you said about hindsight, when you look back on it, that's all you want. That's what you want more than anything in the world, to come back and get back into things. But all you're doing is essentially putting another band-aid on it, like you did the previous 5, 10, 15, how many years you've been stuck in this cycle. You're just putting a band-aid on it, and then eventually it'll just quickly erode right back to where it was, and you'll be back to square one, and maybe even worse off than what you were when you first started. So like I said, I had to control the speed of how that happened, and I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty tough for me to do that. But doing so, I think, set the foundation for how things were going to be moving forward, versus just
Right.
versus just allowing that cycle to be started all over again.
Yeah. I think it's a shame. Obviously, I understand all you guys when you're coming in to the program or you're reaching out. It's like you want to get that outcome. You know, to save the marriage is kind of what everybody's looking forward to do. But when we're focused on that, obviously, that's not a very healthy thing because, well, we're focusing on the wrong thing because we don't control that. You cannot control your wife, and I think it's really important what you're sharing today is that there's no rush on this. It's not a silver bullet. The last thing you want is that your wife checks in so quickly that you end up in this honeymoon phase again, and then roll on 3 to 6 months, and you're back to the same thing because you never got to the root problem, and you never solved the problems in the marriage, and the dynamics that were there haven't been healed. So the unhealthy dynamics. But you've done that. You've been in the program over a year. We've seen you go through that, right? There was this fast kind of reconciliation, but then there was the bumps in the road along the way, and then you continuing to lean into the program. And to rebuild this new unbreakable marriage with her. So it's been great seeing your journey through the ARC system, and it's really great for guys on the outside to be able to listen to your testimony. So thank you so much for sharing that.
And Luke, you mentioned something about the honeymoon phase. They're doing it, I would say, the right way, doing it the right way. And my wife and I, we've been in this honeymoon phase now for, what are we in, May? Probably 4 or 5 months now, from the official reconciliation.
Thanks for sharing that, Cowboy. Falcon, from your side, man, because you also had a similar kind of situation with your wife, but from a different perspective. How confusing was it for you? Like when she started acting friendly and then she's pulling away, how did that impact you?
I felt like at points I wasn't on course with my progress, so I felt like I kind of slacked off. I mean, I'm gonna say it was very confusing um, while I was going through it. Um, but what I realized is like, um, just because she's acting friendly doesn't mean that everything's okay.
Yes.
Like a lot of the progress um, that she that our relationship needed to have was, you know, we both needed to take ownership for what we had done to get to this point, right? You know, there had to be emotional safety built again,
Right.
and and consistency, you know, consistency, because at least with me, you know, we get to a point where we get, it's comforting, right? It's comforting to be in the honeymoon phase per se. But like you said, if you don't start to have the hard conversations, and if you don't start respecting both boundaries, then you know it becomes another cycle. How Cowboy said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't move forward and create that new unbreakable marriage. You're actually stuck, and you've created a new little honeymoon phase. That's right. Okay, so go for the Patch.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I guess it kind of highlights the importance to try and disconnect from her and her emotions, isn't it? And purely focus on yourself, because her emotions will come and go and be confusing for you, and it will, you know, you're gonna ride the wave of emotions in and out. Whereas if you try and disconnect, you know, how she's acting or anything like that, and just focus purely on the program, on your own progress, your own development, your own growth, your own mindset.
That's so important, because you can see if you look to your wife whatsoever, like we're talking about the different dynamics here, and there's not any dynamic here that's easy. If we talk about the dynamic where your wife checks out, gives you no hope, shows no emotion, and from one day to the next, your marriage is over after 20 years, that is pure and utter pain and suffering, right? And having to try and reconcile that and heal from that, it's not fair. There's nothing fair about that. So that's one thing, right? But like you're saying, Apache, in this case, right, you have to heal that hurt within yourself, understand where problems were made, learn the skill set to create this new unbreakable marriage, and then you will find a woman that deserves you, right? Then the other dynamic is where it's like, I think people talk about breadcrumbing, where it's like little pieces of hope, where she comes back towards you, pulls away. So the mixed signals, that's a total mind fuck, right? Because in one day you feel like you're on the road to create this new unbreakable marriage, and the next day it feels like shit, and you're back to square one. That will fuck with the man totally. And then what we're talking about with Cowboy is then she's coming back to you really quickly, and you're like, one side of you, you know, most guys will just grab onto her and be like, sweet, God save my marriage, and just move on. But they're going to have that problem later. There's literally none of these scenarios are perfect. And this is why it's so important what you're saying here, Apache, is so the solution to all of these is to focus on yourself, kill the noise, stop focusing on your wife. But still, Daryl has asked for a definitive answer on his question on what to do. What does it mean when your wife starts acting friendly? So we've got a little bit of a framework here for you, Daryl. So, and for all you guys that are currently finding that your wife's starting to act friendly. So what we've done is, after the 4 years of working with hundreds and hundreds of men, we've now put together a framework to help you make this decision from yourself. So there's 3 factors that you should assess when your wife starts acting friendly. I'll try to explain this as best I can in the time that we have. The first one is, number 1, the factor is the level of independence and confidence you're feeling. And this is exactly what Apache was actually hitting on. Are you emotionally stable? If you're not emotionally stable and you're clingy, you're needy, you're feeling sad, you're feeling hopeless, your judgment of what's happening in your marriage is not clear. You're not getting a clear reading on what's happening in your marriage if you don't have emotional mastery dialed in. Okay, so 1, you need to be feeling independent, confident, happy with your life. That's the first thing. Second, in quality of your wife's character. And now I have to be very careful here, because I don't want to come across as somebody where, you know, there's got high value men, low value men, and high value women. Like, I believe we all have value as human beings, but I have to somehow explain this for you guys out there watching this video to be able to assess your situation and see what does it mean when your wife starts acting friendly. I describe somebody, a wife that's got a low quality character, is if she's cheating, if she's been cheating throughout your marriage, if she's been lying throughout your marriage, if she's been manipulating throughout the marriage, that's low quality character. Doesn't mean that she can't change. She can, but this is not tied to women itself. There's low quality women and there's high quality women, just like there's low quality men and high quality men. All the guys in our ARC system are high quality men. And so we try and assess when guys are coming into the ARC system is what kind of marriage. We're not trying to like heal a toxic marriage. So basically, if you've had a toxic marriage, I'm still going to give you some help today to try and help you get out of that. There are still some learnings to get out of it. But ultimately, the ARC system is there to help men who have had a good marriage, love their wife dearly, but for whatever reason, they've drifted apart. Okay, but the second thing here to assess your marriage is what is the quality of your wife's character? And only you can judge that. Has your wife been cheating on you constantly? Has she been lying to you? Has she been manipulating, playing games with you? That there's no place for any of that in a marriage, in a healthy marriage. Okay. And then the third one is the level of passion and attraction you had in the marriage before, up until this point. So before things hit really bad, did you have a great sex life? Was there a lot of sexual tension in the marriage or not? And I'm going to explain to you why this matters. So 3 factors that for you to assess what it means when your wife starts acting friendly. So let's now apply this matrix to the different situations. This, guys, is, so you'll see on the left-hand column here is confidence. That means you've got high confidence. Then we got quality. It's the quality of your wife, high or low, and passion, high or low. Okay. So if you're watching this now and you're feeling like the fucking bomb, you feel like you've grown a hell of a lot, that you're a really good guy, that you only deserve the best. You're feeling calm and relaxed. You're grounded emotionally. Then you've got a high level of confidence. You know that you have a great wife. You guys have just drifted apart. And you also, before the marriage drifted apart, the passion was very high. You had a great sex life. My message for you, brother, if this is your case, you're on track. You're doing great. Just stick at what you're doing and wait for that sexual tension to build even more. And that'll be the time to speak to your wife regards moving forward together once that sexual tension comes back. Welcome, Combat T. Great to see you on another live, brother. Welcome. So that's when you're on the right track. This is the best case scenario, guys. This is if your wife is acting friendly and this is the way you see your marriage and when you reflect on it, then you're on track. And this is a good sign that you can create this new unbreakable marriage with your wife. What about, though, if you've got a high quality wife, there was passion there beforehand, but you are now currently just really in a tough place, right? You're emotionally down. You're watching our videos. You're looking for signs of hope. You're lacking a bit of confidence. Brother, what you need here is emotional mastery. The only way to move out, you've got a great chance of creating that new unbreakable marriage with your wife, but you have to realize that this happening is allowing you to grow, that you need to be able to stand in this storm. This is incredibly important. Most men, if they don't ground themselves in this situation and find the resilience to get through this storm, then they can end up self-sabotaging the marriage. So it's so important for you to master your emotions really so as quickly as possible. Now, if you find yourself currently in this situation, you find like you're on an emotional roller coaster, we want to help you. You can check out the link down below. There we've got our masterclass. We're going to teach you the modality to start processing your emotions, start healing yourself so you can be calm and grounded and become that man that your wife needs and your kids need. Okay, back then to our little matrix here. So that's emotional. If you got a high quality wife, loads of passion that was there before, and you're just lacking confidence. So this is a good situation to be in. If your wife starts acting friendly, you just got to dial it in, process those big emotions, and you're on a good track. All right, then let's move on to the next one. Here is, okay, your confidence is low. You got a high quality wife. So her values, high moral values. So you got a good wife, but the passion before you came in was dead. So you haven't had sex maybe in a year or 6 months, or it was months before, and the sex life died off and you're lacking confidence. Here, you could still have the opportunity to create this new unbreakable marriage with your wife. Here, in this case, though, you need to strengthen your compass. What do I mean by that? If you're lacking confidence and also that the sex life had dropped off, this is a clear sign of being a dad that you just kind of lost your identity. You need to get clear on your values, who you are, what you stand for, the vision that you have for your life. And this is what gives you the drive and gets you showing up as that strong, magnetic, independent man with exceptional communication skills. So this is what you need to do if you find your wife's acting friendly, but you're lacking confidence at the moment and the passion was also low. But here, this is still a good situation. Get into that masterclass. It's going to help you process those emotions as well. Now, if I look back at this one, the strength in your compass, this is quintessential nice guy. So the guys that are coming into our program, this is a nice guy, low confidence, and the sex life wasn't that great, but they had a good wife. So this is nice guy. This is a lot of nice guys that we have coming into the ARC system. This next slide is for ice guys. So ice guys usually have a lot more confidence. They've got a good sense of self. They know their self-worth. They have a high quality wife in this case. But the passion before they came into the program, or sorry, let's not talk about the program. Let's talk about where you're at today. If you're currently separated and beforehand the sex life had dropped off, then you're probably the ice guy here. And this means, you've kind of got way too caught up in your duties of being a dad, of being a husband, and of providing for your family. Passion will flow back into that relationship when you rediscover things that make you laugh. Like, guys, how many of you guys found, like, when they started struggling in their marriage, who lost, like, their sense of fun? Let's get a show of hands here, or who's ever lost that? Mm-hmm. So I definitely have as well, and not because of my marriage, but definitely there's been times in my life where I got way too focused on being a dad, and you get into this whole this like a machine where it's every day it's the same thing: get up, rinse, repeat. Right? What was that movie with Tom Cruise in it? Yeah. So it's basically where you're just doing the same thing every day. This is a typical ice guy thing. Here, what I'd recommend is you just got to go out and have some fun, like chill out. Start doing your hobbies that light you up. Start playing some musical instruments to get you to chill the fuck out. That's going to be really key when it comes to creating this new unbreakable marriage with your wife. So this is quintessential ice guy. And here, if your wife's acting friendly and this is your setup, you're also in a good situation. Go out and have some more fun. And I think you've got a great chance of creating this new unbreakable marriage with your wife. Now, let's move on to the more difficult situations where I actually have different feedback. Here, worst case scenario, you're lacking self-confidence. Your wife has been cheating on you. She's got low moral values. She's been cheating on you. She's been lying on you. So for lack of a better word, your relationship has been toxic. Plus your sex life has been absolutely crap. Brother, you need to heal. You should be asking yourself the question, why did I attract this type of woman into my life? You should look at reclaiming your self-worth. It's so important. In this situation, I see, unfortunately, so many men end up in this situation and they'll say the woman's the problem. And then they go on, they move on from their wife, and guess what happens? Anybody want to guess what happens to somebody in this situation that blames it totally on the wife, takes no accountability for what happened in their marriage? We're all clear. There's no excuse for cheating. We're all clear on that in our program. But what do you think happens to this guy that just says, fuck her, it's her fault, I'm just moving on, there's nothing for me here to learn? What happens to them?
The same thing, just with in a different relationship.
Yeah. I've got so many guys reaching out to come into our program who are on the second, third marriage. They're at least getting the message that there's something that they need to do here. But that's completely correct, Apache. If you don't do the work on yourself, you will repeat the past. So this is really important, guys. You want to really heal the hurt, reclaim your self-worth, and ask yourself, why the hell did I attract a woman like this into my life? Because once you do the work on yourself, I guarantee you, you're going to find a woman that you deserve, who will respect you, who will love you, who will give you that deep level of intimacy where you can do life together, who has your back. Because all of you men, if you're watching this video, that's what you deserve. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about creating an unbreakable marriage. It's that level, a high standard of marriage where there's deep intimacy, love, and connection. Now, the final one here is where you're feeling confident. So I've seen a couple of guys are feeling confident. The wife has been cheating and there was a good sex life beforehand. I would still say here, you need to work on healing yourself, because unfortunately, in a lot of marriages that have this, especially toxic marriages, sex can be used as a tool. And so the sex life might have been off the chain. It might have been absolutely awesome, but there's been other behaviors going on that haven't been healthy. And ultimately, that's not serving you. So I would recommend doing the same thing as, taking space for yourself, reflecting what's going on, and healing from this. So that's ultimately, I know Daryl was looking for an answer, a yes or no answer on this. What does it mean when your wife starts acting friendly? As we all know, it's not that straightforward. But generally, if we look at one thing, if you've had a good wife, you've had a good relationship, you're feeling confident, you had a decent enough sex life before, then if she's starting to act friendly, it probably means that the emotional safety has been built back and you're going in the right direction. All right, guys. So if you've been enjoying this video, you now understand what it means when your wife starts acting so friendly during a separation. Now that you understand that, you want to watch this next video on the 4 phases on the road to reconciliation.